In this video, I'm about to show you the 10 US coffee maker brands you need to stop buying right now, and the 5 that are actually worth your hard-earned money. Starting with number 10, Mr. Coffee. Mr. Coffee has been sitting on Walmart shelves since 1972, and somewhere along the way, this brand completely stopped trying. You see that familiar red logo? The price looks friendly. You think classic brand? Can't go wrong? That's exactly the trap. Independent tests, including multiple rounds by Consumer Reports, have shown that Mr. Coffee drip models consistently brew water at temperatures between 170 and 185 degrees Fahrenheit. The Specialty Coffee Association says you need at least 195 degrees to properly extract flavor. That gap is not minor. That's the difference between a real cup of coffee and brown warm water. You're paying for that machine, you're paying for those grounds, and every single morning it's shortchanging you. And then there's the plastic. The internal reservoirs and tubing in Mr. Coffee units use lower grade components that, after repeated heating, have shown trace compound migration into water in product liability research. Sunbeam Products, which owns Mr. Coffee, has faced multiple class action suits over fire hazards and failing heating elements. In 2020, documented reports of machines short-circuiting appeared in CPSC consumer complaint records. Their response? A new model number. Same machine, new sticker. That's not a fix, that's a rebrand. Number 9. Black & Decker. Black & Decker makes solid power tools. Their coffee makers, though, are a completely different story. The CM1160B 12-cup model sits around $25 on Amazon, and the verified purchase reviews tell you everything you need to know. Burned plastic smell on the first brew, weak coffee, and a carafe that drips all over your counter every time you pour. That plastic smell is not just unpleasant. Studies published in food safety journals have linked heated lower-grade plastics in budget kitchen appliances to potential hormonal disruption compounds migrating into beverages. Black & Decker has never disclosed the full material composition of their coffee maker internal components. The heating element also pulls double duty. It heats the water and keeps the plate warm, and that hot plate scorches the bottom of the carafe at around 185 degrees. Your coffee turns bitter and acidic within 20 minutes of brewing. You spent real money on decent coffee beans, and this machine destroys them. That is not a bargain. That is a $40 mistake every single time. Number 8. Cuisinart DCC Series. Cuisinart looks serious. The packaging is professional, the price says you're buying something a step above the cheap stuff, and the brand name carries real weight. That reputation is what makes what actually happened here so infuriating. In 2016, Cuisinart recalled roughly 8 million coffee makers after reports that the blade inside the filter basket could crack and send small plastic fragments directly into brewed coffee. 8 million machines. That is not a manufacturing hiccup. That is a systematic design failure the company knew about and kept shipping until the Consumer Product Safety Commission forced their hand. And here is the part that should make anyone angry. The fix Cuisinart offered was a replacement filter basket, not a new machine, a plastic basket. And even after the recall, consumer complaint boards were filled with people reporting the exact same cracking issue in the replacement baskets within months. The Better Business Bureau received hundreds of unresolved complaints against parent company Conair Corporation in the years following that recall. 8 million defective machines, and their solution was a $3 plastic part. That tells you everything about how much you matter to them once the sale is made. Number 7. Hamilton Beach. Hamilton Beach is everywhere. Dollar stores, big box retailers, online marketplaces, and that saturation strategy is the whole problem. When your entire business model is being the cheapest thing in every store in America, quality control is not going to be a priority. NSF International, an independent public health organization, published research showing coffee makers are among the germiest appliances in American kitchens. Budget machines with poorly sealed water reservoirs, exactly like Hamilton Beach's FlexBrew and BrewStation lines, are the worst offenders. Mold, yeast, and coliform bacteria were found in nearly half of the home coffee makers tested. Hamilton Beach's internal tubes and reservoirs trap moisture between uses and create perfect conditions for microbial growth. A 2019 federal class action lawsuit alleged that Hamilton Beach's brew station dispensing models had defective seals, causing internal liquid leaking, compounding the contamination issue. They settled for an undisclosed amount. They never redesigned the product. That same brew station is still on shelves right now. Hamilton Beach's parent company, Natco Industries, reported over $1 billion in revenue last year. They have the money to fix this. They just decided you weren't worth fixing it for. Number 6. Farberware. Farberware has been an American kitchen name since 1900, and people still buy it because their grandmother had Farberware cookware that lasted 40 years. That nostalgia is exactly what the current corporate owners are cashing in on. The brand has been acquired and passed through multiple ownership changes, landing under the Meyer Corporation umbrella, and every transition brought more cost-cutting and less accountability. The Farberware coffee makers flooding discount retail channels today average around 2.8 stars on verified purchase reviews across major platforms. Users report machines stopping completely within 90 days, heating elements failing without warning, and a customer service process that routes complaints in circles. The warranty process requires shipping the unit back at your own expense for a product that costs $30. You would spend more on return shipping than the machine is worth. Here is what makes Farberware the cruelest one on this list. They are selling you a memory. They are putting a name on the box that your family trusted for generations and using that trust to move the cheapest product they can manufacture. The old company and this current one share nothing but a logo. That's not just bad quality. That's a con. Number 5. Proctor Silex. Proctor Silex and Hamilton Beach are owned by the same parent company, Natco Industries, and once you know that the quality makes complete sense. If Hamilton Beach is the budget tier, Proctor Silex is the sub-budget tier, the one you find at $12 in a closeout bin, and the build reflects exactly that price point. The Proctor Silex 43672 and similar models reach brewing temperatures as low as 165 degrees Fahrenheit, that is 30 degrees below the minimum standard for proper coffee extraction. Coffee brewed at that temperature is scientifically under-extracted. You are missing the oils, the aromatics, every flavor compound that makes coffee worth drinking. A study in applied and environmental microbiology noted that water temperatures below 180 degrees Fahrenheit are insufficient for effective microbial reduction in brewing systems. So you are not even getting the safety benefit of heat. The carafe handles on multiple Proctor Silex models have been reported to crack and separate during use, a burn hazard that has generated informal CPSC consumer safety complaints. No formal recall has been issued. The company sells millions of units at $12 to $15, accepts that a significant portion will fail quickly, and moves on. The math works for them. It never worked for you. Number 4, Keurig K Mini and K Compact. Before anyone says anything, yes, Keurig makes some decent machines, but the K Mini and K Compact are a specific problem, and that is exactly what we are here to talk about. The K Mini retails between $60 and $80 and has a documented heating consistency issue that Keurig's own customer support forums acknowledge. The machine skips the pre-infusion step that proper extraction requires and delivers coffee that independent testing places at around 175 degrees at the point of delivery below the SCA standard every single time. But the cost issue here goes beyond your cup. A 2020 study from the University of Arizona found over 56 billion K-cups disposed of in U.S. landfills over a 5-year period. The multi-layer plastic and aluminum composite construction makes them essentially non-recyclable through standard municipal systems. Keurig Green Mountain was sued in 2014 and again in 2019 over misleading recycling claims on their packaging. They settled the 2019 case for $6.5 million, a rounding error, against their nearly $15 billion in annual revenue. They paid the fine, changed some label language, and kept doing exactly what they were doing. You are not just getting under-temperature coffee, you are subsidizing one of the largest greenwashing operations in the American food and beverage industry. Number 3. Instant Pot Instant Solo Coffee Maker. Instant Pot earned their reputation the right way. Their pressure cookers are genuinely great products. People trust that name, and the company decided to use that trust to expand into every kitchen category imaginable, including coffee makers. That is where it fell apart. The Instant Solo single-serve coffee maker launched with heavy marketing and ran into problems the brand was not equipped to handle. The internal pump mechanism, sourced from lower-cost third-party suppliers during Instant Pot's rapid expansion phase following their acquisition by Corel Brands in 2019, showed failure rates that were abnormally high for a machine in the $50 to $70 range. Amazon verified purchase data shows the Instant Solo averaging just above 3 stars, with the most common complaints being pump failure within 6 months, inconsistent water temperatures, and a descaling cycle that routinely fails to complete. Instant Pot tried to address these issues through firmware updates on app-connected models. The core hardware problem was never fixed through a redesign. The people who bought this machine made a reasonable decision. They trusted a brand that had earned that trust in one category and assumed it would carry over. It did not, and the company has never publicly acknowledged that. Number 2. Ninja CE 251. Ninja makes good blenders. Their air fryers have a real following. But the CE 251 12-cup coffee maker at around $60 is what happens when a company decides market share matters more than product integrity. Ninja markets this machine aggressively as a premium drip coffee experience. Independent laboratory testing, published by Wirecutter in a comprehensive drip category analysis, found the CE 251 fails to maintain consistent brewing temperatures across a full 12-cup cycle. It drops below 195 degrees for significant portions of the brew time. The first 2 or 3 cups are decent. By the time you reach the back half of the carafe, the water temperature has fallen off and you are getting weak, under-extracted coffee. The CE 251 also has a widely reported issue with the brew basket seal degrading after 3 to 6 months of regular use, allowing grounds to bypass the filter and settle in your cup. Ninja's customer service response is to send you a replacement basket, the same part that failed, rather than acknowledging the design is flawed. Shark Ninja Corporation reported $2.7 billion in net revenue in 2023. They have the engineering resources to fix a filter basket seal. They have made the business decision not to because replacement unit sales are more profitable than solving the problem. Number 1. Bunn NHS Home Brewer. This one surprises people every time because Bunn has a reputation in the commercial world that is completely deserved. Walk into any diner in America, and there is a good chance a Bunn commercial machine behind that counter has been running perfectly for 20 years. But the NHS Home series lives in a completely different universe, and the gap between that commercial reputation and the home product reality is one of the most misleading things in this entire industry. The Bunn NHS keeps water constantly heated inside a tank even when you are not brewing, and that design means the machine runs electricity 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Energy Star consumption data shows the NHS draws approximately 100 watts continuously in standby. That adds $17 to $22 to your annual electricity bill compared to a machine that only heats water when you brew. Over 3 years, that is $60+ in extra electricity for the privilege of a slightly faster brew time. And the taste is worse anyway. Because water is preheated and dispensed rapidly through the grounds without a proper pre-infusion phase, the extraction is uneven, over-extracted at the top of the grounds bed, under-extracted at the bottom. Food science research on coffee extraction kinetics consistently identifies fast spray systems without pre-infusion as producing flat, astringent cups. You are paying a premium price, running up your electricity bill and getting coffee that a properly designed $50 machine would outperform every morning. That is why it is number 1. Now, allow me to remind you, not all brands are the sad bummer, as here are the 5 you should trust. Number 5. Technivore Moccamaster. The Moccamaster is one of only a handful of machines to hold continuous, uninterrupted SCA certification for home brewing. That certification is not marketing language to earn it. A machine must independently test at brewing temperatures between 197.6 and 204.8 degrees Fahrenheit through a complete brew cycle. Not just the first cup, the whole pot. The KBGV Select retails for around $350. That sounds like a lot until you look at what you actually get. The copper heating element has a measured lifespan of well over 1,000 brewing cycles without performance degradation. The drip arm distributes water evenly across the entire grounds bed, preventing channeling, which is when water finds the easy path through the grounds rather than extracting evenly. The Coffee Review, one of the most credible third-party tasting organizations in the U.S. coffee industry, consistently scores Moccamaster brewed cups between 85 and 93 out of 100. That is specialty coffee scoring on a home machine. The company also backs it with a 5-year warranty supported by a U.S. repair network. Actual repair, not throw it away and buy another. If you are done replacing cheap machines every 6 months, this is the conversation you should be having with yourself. Number 4. Oxo Brew 9-Cup. Oxo built their entire brand around the idea that good design should be available to normal people, and the Brew 9-Cup is the best example of that applied to coffee. It carries SCA certification and retails in the $170 to $200 range, a genuine middle ground between machines that disappoint you and machines that feel like a stretch. What Oxo does that almost nothing at this price point does is a pre-infusion cycle. Before the full brew begins, the machine releases a small amount of hot water to saturate the grounds and let carbon dioxide escape. This is standard practice in specialty coffee preparation, and it dramatically improves extraction, evenness, and flavor complexity. The thermal carafe on the Oxo Brew, not a glass carafe with a hot plate, an actual vacuum-insulated thermal carafe, keeps coffee at proper drinking temperature for up to 1 hour without continuing to cook it. The difference in taste between a hot plate carafe and a thermal carafe after 30 minutes is dramatic. The hot plate version turns acidic and bitter. The thermal version tastes close to how it brewed. America's Test Kitchen, which does not accept advertising from the brands they test, gave the Oxo Brew their top recommendation in the mid-range drip category. That recommendation means something real. Number 3. Breville Precision Brewer. The Breville Precision Brewer is what happens when an engineering team takes the actual science of coffee extraction seriously and then builds a product around that science rather than a target price point. It retails around $250 and has been the top-rated home drip coffee maker in multiple consecutive years of testing by both Wirecutter and America's Test Kitchen, two organizations that approach testing very differently and rarely end up on the same product. The Precision Brewer uses a PID temperature control system, proportional integral derivative, borrowed from industrial process engineering that maintains water temperature within plus or minus 1 degree Fahrenheit through the entire brew cycle. Budget machines using bimetallic thermostat systems simply cannot achieve that. The machine also features adjustable pre-infusion bloom time, settable from 10 to 60 seconds depending on roast level. Lighter roasts need longer bloom times to properly degas before full extraction. The Precision Brewer actually lets you account for that variable. Breville publishes the SCA certification test data for this specific model publicly on their website. Most companies in this space do not publish test data because the data does not support their marketing claims. Breville publishes it because the product performs exactly the way they say it does. Number 2. Bonavita 8-Cup 1-Touch. The Bonavita is the honest coffee maker. No celebrity endorsements, no aggressive retail placement campaigns, no flashy marketing. It makes genuinely excellent coffee for around $160 and has been doing that quietly and consistently for over a decade. The BV1901TS carries SCA certification. The flat-bottom showerhead disperses water across the entire ground surface with a consistency that machines at twice its price often fail to match. It reaches proper operating temperature in under 8 minutes from a cold start and maintains that temperature within SCA required range through a full 8-cup cycle. What makes Bonavita genuinely worth talking about beyond the technical specs is the customer service record. J.D. Power's small appliance research has consistently placed Bonavita in the top tier for post-purchase support, not because they have a giant call center, but because they have a responsive warranty process and a product that rarely requires warranty service to begin with. In a category where half the machines fail within a year and the companies behind them make returns deliberately painful, that combination of product quality and actual human accountability is genuinely rare. It does not get written about as much as the flashy brands, but it works every single morning without drama. Number 1. Fellow Stag EKG and Ode Ecosystem. Fellow is not a traditional coffee maker brand, and that is precisely why it sits at number 1. Founded in San Francisco in 2013, Fellow built their entire company around the idea that home coffee deserved the same precision that specialty cafes apply. The result is a product ecosystem centered on the Stag EKG electric kettle and the Oxo Brew grinder that has genuinely changed what home coffee preparation is capable of in this country. The Stag EKG variable temperature kettle retails around $160 and holds temperature within plus or minus 1 degree Fahrenheit using a PID controller with a real-time temperature display. The gooseneck spout geometry is validated through fluid dynamics testing, and Fellow published that development data not as a marketing claim, but as actual engineering documentation. The Oat grinder, at around $325, uses 64mm flat burrs, the same burr format used in commercial grinders, costing over $1,000. Particle size analysis shows grind consistency that is significantly more uniform than any blade grinder and most entry-level burr grinders sold at retail. Fellow received B Corporation certification in 2022, an independent ethical business certification requiring third-party assessment of environmental performance, supply chain, and governance. Of every brand on both sides of this list, Fellow is the only one that submitted to that level of external accountability. The coffee you make with their equipment using quality beans is as good as anything you would pay $8 for at a specialty cafe. That is the whole point. You do not have to keep giving those shops your money every morning.